You are not alone in this huge universe. There are loads of things you're connected to. The trick to doing well? It's about being good at keeping all those relationships strong and happy. Namaskar, Divine Seekers. In the last 6 secrets we covered in this webinar, we elaborated on the importance of kinship connection, spiritual connection, and different types of kinship alliances. But to have harmony with the universe and be in true kinship, we have to agree on a moral base that can create peace, justice, and wellness for all. In fact, we could argue that ethical moral behavior is a prerequisite for sustaining spiritual life and cosmic kinship. Many different indigenous nations have their own version of moral codes to live by that create harmony in their societies. For example, the Anishinaabe have the 7 grandfathers, and the Quechua believe in the principle of Aini, which is the law of reciprocity. Here, I will reveal 5 ethical guidelines from the yamas and niyamas, which are the moral principles of yoga. Number 1, practice non-harming or ahimsa. Non-harming goes beyond avoiding physical pain. It encompasses steering clear of harmful thoughts and words. It's harder than it sounds. Just living in society, even a forest or a cave, means you will make some kind of physical impact that affects others. Just consider how every exhalation of our breathing kills countless microbes that are floating in the air. As a result, it is futile to try to be a perfect pacifist. Sometimes you literally can't be a pacifist if an animal is attacking you or a government is oppressing you. Sometimes you have to rise up and use force to defend yourself or the vulnerable. Regardless of the challenge, though, before you, you can be guided by the following question and still practice non-harming. How can I respond to this situation causing the least amount of pain possible? The opposite of non-harming is to show love. And as the late feminist theorist Bell Hooks wrote, love is the will to nurture one's own and another's spiritual growth. We should consider that all of our kin, humans, plants, animals, or minerals, all want to be successful in whatever journey they are undertaking, and their growth deserves to be nurtured. Love and non-harming allows us to minimize their pain and promote thriving spaces for our kin and others to flourish. Number 2, speak with kindness or satya. We each possess, in varying degrees, the ability to be gentle, considerate, and caring. We have the power to convey these feelings in our touch, in our gaze, in our mannerisms, and in our words. When we speak to others, we should always speak to create the highest good. Sometimes this even means telling a little lie about how someone looks or about how someone performed to avoid hurting their feelings. Sometimes we have to withhold information to not allow dramas to continue unfolding. Sometimes we have to refrain from speaking before we speak out of anger or resentment. Our verbal criticisms are hardly ever received without resistance, meaning we hardly have the power to change people just because we point out their mistakes. Often, we're quick to sting others because our own internal dialogue is mean and hurtful to ourselves. We've been wounded by people's harsh words, and we inevitably spread that negativity to others. The best we can do is use the power of our word to not harm ourselves nor anyone else. Number 3, non-stealing or asteya. Stealing happens in multiple ways. We can take things that don't belong to us. We can also deprive others of what is their due. Theft can also occur in our minds just by contemplating taking things and depriving others of their rightful due. When I was a boy, every house in my neighborhood had bars at the windows because theft was such a common occurrence. Imagine the impact it would create in the world if theft did not exist. We could trust our neighbors. We could trust strangers with our belongings. We could trust politicians with the people's money. We could trust businesses to not deprive workers of wages or consumers of quality. Ultimately, we would be able to trust everyone we associate with, knowing that cheating and stealing is never practiced. We can ensure a world like this for all of our kin if we just remove from our minds and our behavior the tendency for stealing. Number 4, seeing everything as an expression of the divine, or brahmacharya. Seeing everything as an expression of the divine involves a profound shift in perception. Consider for a moment that the creator of the universe did not invent the universe outside of himself or herself. Rather, the creator was merely imagining all of existence in his or her mind, just as you can dream a whole fictional tale in your imagination. This would mean that though you and I appear like external physical manifestations to each other, to the creator, we are internal manifestations and internal thought waves, and so is everything. Nothing exists outside of the mind of the divine. Therefore, nothing is mundane, fallen, or impure. Rather, everything is sacred because everything exists in the mind of the creator. If we apply this perspective and practice seeing everything as expressions of divinity, we honor our kinship alliances and treat them as the essence they carry. Number 5, non-hoarding and living simply, also known as aparigraha. When a person hoards old belongings and useless things in their homes, we criticize those people and we call them insane or hoarders or junk collectors. Even though they're actually not hurting anybody else, they're just cluttering their own space. Yet we glorify and become subordinate to those who hoard wealth. We don't consider the relentless pursuit to break profit records and indulge in excessive materialism to be abnormal or antisocial behavior, when in fact, much of the world's inequality, exploitation, deforestation, pollution, extinction of species, and climate change is a result of greed, wealth hoarding, and selfishness. It is crucial to recognize that unchecked greed and capitalism poses a significant existential threat. This doesn't mean that we reject technology or material comforts. It means we know our limit to how much we should individually accumulate and strive to create an equitable world for future generations and all living beings on this planet. Now, are you ready to put what we learned in this 9-part webinar into action? Just click on the video over there to discover a meditation technique that's going to put everything we talked about into practice. Join me in the video and let's explore how this knowledge can help you connect more with your relationships and the universe. See you in the video. Namaskar.